Hello students, welcome back. So first at Brahmanad. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shastra. So today here we are going to start a new chapter, that is solution. So what is solution? So solution actually a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. So you know matter exists in three forms, that is solid, liquid, in gaseous form, and what thing around us or what are the substance around us all are generally consist of some pure substances and maximum mixtures. So pure substances are generally elements and compounds, and the mixtures are the combination of these pure substances, and these mixtures are again of two types. One is your homogeneous mixture, another heterogeneous mixture. So the homogeneous mixture where the different component can be easily find out, easily can be identified, and in the homogeneous mixture which is uniform throughout, its composition is uniform throughout, and where the different components cannot be easily identified, that are known as your homogeneous mixture. So these homogeneous mixtures are called your solution. So minimum components of a homogeneous mixture is 2. Minimum components of the homogeneous mixture is 2. In this there are, so this homogeneous mixtures are also called solutions. These homogeneous mixtures are also called solutions. There are two components in a solution. One is known as your solute and another is solvent. One component solute, one component solvent. So the component which is present in more amount, maximum amount, that is generally known as your solvent, and which is present in minimum amount, that is known as your solute. In a homogeneous mixture which is present maximum amount, that is generally known as solvent, and which is present in minimum amount, that is generally known as your solute. As you know, general matter exists in three forms. So in this way, solute can exist in three forms, and the solvent also can exist in three forms. So the solute can exist in three forms and solvent can exist in three forms. In this way, a binary solution or a solution which has two components that consist of generally 9 types. Okay, so it is generally 3 types, that is solid, liquid or gases, and solvent is also 3 types. So if we consider a binary solution, a two component system, then the solution is of 9 types. Then the solution is of 9 types. Okay. So what are the different types of solutions? Let us discuss some examples. This is solvent and this is solute. Solvent may be solid. If the solvent solid, the solute either solid or liquid or gas. Similarly, solvent is liquid. Then the solute may be here solid. It may be liquid. It may be gas. Similarly, the solvent is gas and the solute is either solid or liquid or gas. In this way there are 9 types of solution. Okay. For example, solid. These are generally different alloys. What is your brass, bronze? Okay, so one metal solid is dissolved in another solid. So these are generally the metals are generally melted and then mixed and then cooled. That gives you the alloys. And these alloys, example, brass, bronze, etc. So these are your solid solution. Okay. Similarly, solvent is solid and the solid is liquid. Generally, these are hydrated salts. Examples are hydrated salts like copper sulfate, pentahydrate, and Glaber salt Na2SO4.10H2O. Here the amount of water is less amount of water is present here. Okay, so these are known as your hydrated, these are known as your solid in liquid solvents. Okay, so solid solvent and the liquid is solute. Example is hydrated salt. Similarly, the amalgam, sodium mercury amalgam. Sodium mercury amalgam is an example of solid liquid solution. Okay. Similarly, solid in gas. So generally, this is the absorption of different gases on metal surface. Absorption of different gases on metal surface. Absorption of gases on metal surface. So these are some examples of solid, solute solutions where solid is the solvent. For example, hydrogen gas is absorbed in nickel metal surface. Hydrogen gas is absorbed in iron surface. So these are the examples of solid and solid solvent, where the solute is either solid, liquid or gas. Next, now let us consider what is the solution now, where the solvent is liquid. When the solvent is liquid, the solute may be solid, liquid or gas, and this depends on, for example, when the solvent is liquid and the solid is solid. Example, glucose solution, sugar solution, sodium chloride solution. So these are the examples. So these are solid and this is the solvent. This is the example of solution where solvent is liquid and solute is solid. Similarly, liquid solution, these are methanol, ethanol, vinegar, etc. These are some examples of liquid solvents. So liquid solution. In liquid gas, all generally soft drinks or aerated water or soft drinks. So these are examples. So where the carbon dioxide gas is dissolved in water. Okay, so these are the examples of solution where solvent is liquid and solute is gas. Next comes the example of where the solvent is gas and solute is solid. That is your iodine vapor in air. So when iodine is emitted, it forms vapors, the iodine vapor in air. This is an example of solid in air. Okay. So gas in liquid, an example of humidity or moisture in air. So you know, in atmosphere, so water molecules are present and this is more humidity is there, then more amount of water also present. These are in liquid form. Liquid is consist of in gaseous form and air is in gaseous form, and in this way this is gas in liquid form. Next, gas in gas, that is your air. So solution where both the solvent and solute are gases. Okay, where both solute and solvent are gases. So here is a mixture of different gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, etc. Okay, so these are the examples of some solutions. Next, in general, solutions means what we mean. In general, when we consider about a solution means the solvent is generally a liquid. The solvent is generally a liquid, and the solute may be gas, may be solid, or may be liquid. Okay, in general, and actually water is taken as the universally solvent. So in maximum cases, water is taken as solvent due to its high dielectric constant, and it's another thing. Its melting point and the boiling point difference is also very large. In this way, generally water is used as universal solvent, and in some cases, some other solvents are also used. And water is a polar solvent. Okay, so universally water is taken as the solvent, and some other solvents are also there. Next come to whenever we consider about a solution, then how to represent the concentration of this solution. Okay, presentation of concentration of solution. Presentation of concentration of solution. The concentration of solution, from this we can know what is the amount of solute present in a solvent. So in general speaking, a solution means we can generally that comes in mind, that is the solvent is a liquid and the solute may be a gas, or maybe a liquid, or maybe a solid. In maximum case, the solutes are either liquid or either solids. Okay, solutes are maximum cases. Generally we think these are your either solid or either liquid form, or the solvent is generally in liquid form, and universally water is taken as your solvent. So presentation of concentration of the solution. What is the amount of solute present in a solution? That is known as concentration of the solution, and there are different terms to express the concentration of the solution, such as strength, percentage, normality, molarity, mole fraction, formality, ppm, etc. So these are different forms of expressing the concentration units. Let us shortly discuss one by one. Strength. Strength means what is the amount of solute present per liter of solution. What is the amount of solute present per liter of solution is known as strength, and the unit of strength is grams per liter. Gram per liter. Okay, what is the amount of solute present per liter of solution or per 1000 ml of solution? Suppose given 4 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 100 ml of solution. 100 ml of solution. Then what is its strength? So its strength is 4 by 100 into 1000, that is equal to, what is the amount of present per 100 ml, sorry 1000 ml or per liter of solution. So here we find that is equal to 40. Okay, so 40, so we can say 40 gram per 1000 ml, 40 gram per 1000 ml, or we can say 40 gram per liter. So the strength of the solution, when 4 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 100 ml of solution, the strength is 40 gram per liter. So strength is generally expressed in grams per liter, represented by letter S. Okay. Next come to another concentration unit, that is percentage. So what is the amount of substance present per 100 parts of solution? What is the amount of solute present for 100 parts of solvent, 100 parts of solution is known as percentage. The amount of substance present, the amount of substance present for 100 parts of solution is known as percentage, and this percentage generally expressed in three ways. One is your volume percentage, one is your mass percentage, another your mass and volume percentage. Okay, so this percentage is expressed generally in three ways, that is weight by weight percentage. When the solute is taken in weight and the solution is also taken in weight. So solute is taken in weight and the solute is taken in weight form and the solution is also taken in weight. 4 gram of, suppose given 4 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 100 gram of solution, then this percentage is 4%. Suppose given 2 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 50 gram of solution. So 2 by 50 into 100. Okay, so weight by weight, that is your weight of solute by weight of solution into 100. That gives you the weight percentage. So 2 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 50 gram of solution. Then what is this weight percentage? 2 by 50 into 100, that is equal to 4%. That is weight by weight form. Similarly, when the percentage is also expressed in weight by volume, when the weight of solute is taken in gram and the volume of solution is taken in ml or liter, then this is known as your weight by volume. So solute is taken in grams and solution is taken in ml. Okay, so how to calculate? It is your weight of solute by volume of solution into 100. This gives you weight by volume percentage. So this percentage three types: weight by weight and weight by volume. For example, suppose given 18 gram of urea present in 50 ml of solution. Okay, 18 gram of urea present in 50 ml of solution. What is its percentage? Then its percentage is determined as so 18 by 50 into 100. Okay, so this is equal to 36 percentage, that is your weight by volume. So volume of the solution taken. And another expression of percentage is volume by volume percentage, where the solute is taken in volume as well as the solution is also taken in volume, in ml. Okay, suppose 20 ml of ethanol present in 200 ml of solution. Okay, so 20 ml of ethanol present in 200 ml of solution. Then what is the percentage? So both are taken in volume. Then how to determine the volume percentage? The volume percentage is determined like this. That is your volume of solute. Generally all both are liquids. Volume of solute by volume of solution into 100. That is equal to 20 by 200 into 100. That is equal to 10 percentage. Volume by volume. So in this way we determine the percentage. Okay. So in this way we determine the concentration in terms of percentage. Next come to another, that is your normality. So what is normality? So this is the number of gram equivalent of solute present per liter of solution. It is represented by letter N. So number of gram equivalent of solute present per liter of solution. So this is known as normality. Okay. So mathematically you can write normality equal to weight of the substance, weight of the solute divided by its equivalent mass into 1 by V. When this is taken in liter, if it is taken in ml, then weight by equivalent mass into 1000 by V, when this is volume is taken in ml. Okay, weight of the substance, the number of gram equivalents, the weight of the solute by equivalent mass of the solute into 1000 by V ml of the solution. Suppose given one question, 8 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 500 ml of solution. Then find out its normality. Then what is the normality? Then how to find out? You know the equivalent mass of sodium hydroxide is 40. So weight of the substance given, the normality, there is weight given 8 by 40. Okay, into given 1000 by given 500 ml volume of solution. Okay, so number of gram equivalent, weight of the substance by this. So in this way, 500, 1000, it cancels 2 and 40 cancel, this is 20 and 8 by 20, 8 by 20. So this normality value, then also you find out by 4, that is equal to 2 by 5. Okay, so the normality you can find 2 by 5, also find out in fractional value. Also find out this in fractional value. Okay. So in this you can find out what is the normality. Next come to what is molarity. This is represented by M. This is the number of moles of solute present per liter of solution. So number of gram moles, or we can say number of moles of solute present per liter of solution. In this molarity can be represented as number of moles by volume of solution in liter. When the solution is taken in liter, the number of moles by volume of solution. If the solution volume is taken in ml, just multiply by 1000. Okay. Suppose same thing, 4 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 500 ml of solution. 4 gram of sodium hydroxide present in 500 ml of solution. Find out what is its molarity. Then the number of moles by volume of solution, or mathematically when we express weight of the substance by molecular mass into 1 by V, or weight of the substance by molecular mass into 1000 by V, when taken in ml, when taken in liter. This is only the difference. Okay, so number of moles, 4 gram of number of moles by volume of solution. So in this way, what is its value? So here molarity 4 by sodium hydroxide, that is 40 into 1000 by volume given 500. So this is 2 and this is 10, 2 by 10, 1 by 5, 2 by 10, 1 by 5, that is equal to 0.2 m. Okay, so in this we find out what is the molarity of the solution. Okay, so you know this value, weight of the substance by volume. Look here, weight of the substance by volume in liter, that is known as your strength. Weight of the substance for liter of the solution, that is known as your strength, and this is your molecular mass. So in this way, molarity is related to strength by the relation, that is strength in grams per liter divided by molecular mass. This is the relationship between molarity and strength. Okay. Next come to another term, that is your molality. Molality. So this is the number of moles of solute present per kg of solvent. In molarity, number of moles of solute present per liter of solution, and here per kg of solvent. Okay, number of moles of solute present per kg of solvent. So this is known as your molality. It is represented by a letter M. So we can write M equal to number of moles of solute divided by weight of solvent. Mathematically, we can express weight by molecular mass of solute, weight of solute, molecular mass of solute into 1 by A. That is your in kg. When this is given in kg, this A represents your weight of solvent. This is your weight of solvent, or that is weight by molecular mass into 1000 by A in gram. If it is given in gram, then multiply by 1000. If it is given in kg, then 1 by A. In this way, you can find out what is molality. For example, suppose one question given. 529.5 gram of a solution contain 29.5 gram of 529.25 gram of 25 gram of a solution contain 29.25 gram of sodium chloride. Then what is the molality? Then what is the molality of this solution? So weight of solution, that is 529.25. Then weight of solvent, that is equal to, and weight of solute 29.25. then weight of solvent 529.25 minus 29.25, that is equal to 500 gram. Then what is the molality? Weight of the substance 29.25 by molecular mass of the solute, that is 58.5. Sodium chloride has molecular weight 58.5. Then multiplied by 1000 by 500. Okay, in this way 500, 1000, this is 2, and 58.5, 29.25, this is equal to 2. So 2 by 2, that is equal to 1. 1 molar. This solution is 1 molar. Another term is this is your molality. Now next come to another term, that is your mole fraction. Mole fraction. So what is mole fraction? Mole fraction, this is the number of moles of one component. This is the ratio of number of moles of one component to the total number of moles of all components. Okay, this is the ratio of number of moles of one component to total number of moles of all components present in the solution. This is known as your mole fraction, and this is represented by letter X. Suppose a binary system is there. There are two components A and B. Then and A and B. Then suppose X1 is the moles of one component and XB the moles of another component. Then the sum of mole fraction of these two components is equal to 1. Suppose A component is present in N1 moles and B component is present in N2 moles. Suppose the solution contains two components A and B. A component has present N1 moles and B component is present in N2 moles. Then N1 moles and N2 moles. Then mole fraction of A, that is N1 by N1 plus N2, and mole fraction of B, that is N2 by N1 plus N2. So in this way, number of moles of one component divided by total number of moles of all components. This is known as your mole fraction. Okay. So this mole fraction and molality, these two factors does not depend on the temperature, but normality, molarity, percentage in volume, and then strength, all these concentration terms generally depends on temperature. They changes by changing temperature, but mole fraction and molality does not change with change in temperature. So do not change with change in temperature. In this way, these are the better way to represent the concentration terms than others. But more conveniently, generally concentration is expressed in moles per liter, that is in molarity term. Next come to another term, formality. Formality is similar with that of molarity. Formality is similar with that of molarity, but for covalent compounds or molecular compounds, generally molarity is used, and for ionic compounds, generally formula units are used. In this way, formality is used in case of ionic compounds. So generally formality is used in case of ionic compounds and molarity is used in case of molecular compounds. And these two are similar calculation method, similar way this can be represented. Or we can see the number of formula units present per liter of solution, that is known as your formality. Next come to ppm, parts per million. This is the number of parts of solute present for 1 million part of the solution. This is known as your ppm. What is the amount of poisonous gases present in atmosphere? What is the amount of poisonous things present in water? That is generally determined in terms of ppm. So ppm, parts per million, that is the how we can say number of parts of solute, either in gram divided by number of parts of solution multiplied by 10 to the power 6. So this gives rise to the ppm, weight in terms of weight or in terms of number that can be determined. Okay, just solve another problem. Suppose 18 gram of glucose present in 90 gram of water. Then find out mole fraction of glucose. One problem based on mole fraction. 18 gram of glucose present in 90 gram of water. Find out the mole fraction of glucose. So number of moles of glucose. Suppose N1, number of moles of N1 suppose number of moles of glucose, then and N2 that is number of moles of water. Okay, so weight. So how to find out the number of moles? Weight of the substance divided in molecular mass. So that is equal to glucose has weight 18, molecular mass 180, that is 0.1. Similarly, number of moles of water, weight given 90 by 18, that is equal to 5 mole. So in this way, mole fraction of glucose X1, that is the mole fraction of glucose X1 is equal to how much? 0.1 by 5 plus 0.1, 1 by 51. Convert in decimal form to find out what is the mole fraction of glucose in this. Next come to another term, that is solid solutions. So what do you mean by solid solutions? So solid solutions are there where solvent is a solid. Solid solutions are those where the solvent is a solid. Most commonly, the solid solutions means both the solvent and solute. Both the solvent and solute are solids. That is known as your solid solution. And generally, there are two types of solid solution. One is substitutional solid solution, and another interstitial solid solution. Okay, so substitutional solid solutions are there where one atom or ion or molecule in a solid is replaced by another atom or ion or molecule. Okay, one atom or ion is replaced by another atom or ion or molecule. Suppose there is a small portion of solid. It consists of generally some atoms, and if the atomic size are similar, and then one atom can be replaced by another atom. Okay, suppose you consider this is a small portion of solid, a pure solid, and in solid solvent if the atomic size are similar, then in place of one atom, if another atom is replaced in place of one ion, another ion is substituted, or in case of one molecule, another molecule is substituted. So in this way, it gives a substitutional solid solution. Look here, suppose I am writing here, and in this, instead of this, suppose another atom is there. Okay, so because of their similar size, suppose some other atoms are present in this way, this is known as your other atoms are present. So in this way, it gives rise to your substitutional solid solution. Generally, different alloys are formed due to this. You know, generally transition elements form different alloys. So why they form alloys? Because they have similar atomic size. So due to their similar atomic size, in place of one atom, another atom can be replaced. For example, suppose zinc and copper is there. So in place of copper, some zinc atoms are replaced. In this way, zinc copper alloy can be formed. So substitutional solid solution, in place of one atom or ion or molecule, another atom or ion or molecule is substituted. So that type of solid solution is known as your substitutional solid solution. and another is known as your interstitial solid solution. So interstitial solid solution means suppose there are arrangement of so many number of atoms of the solids and there is some interstitial space. So there are arrangement of atoms of solid and there is some interstitial space or voids and some other solid atom can remain. If some other solid atom can remain in the interstitial space or the void of others, then that is known as your interstitial solid solutions. Look here, in place of one atom, another atom is replaced given by red marks. Suppose here the interstitial voids are there. Suppose another atoms are remain in this position. Suppose in this interstitial voids some other atoms are present. Then that type of solution is known as interstitial solid solution. So these are the example of brass, bronze, etc. And this is the example of tungsten carbide. So tungsten metals are there and carbon atom has very small size and carbon atom remain in the interstitial space of this. So in this way it gives rise to interstitial solid solutions. Okay. Next come to another term, that is solutions of liquid. Solutions of liquid or liquid solutions. Liquid solutions. So liquid solutions means the solvent is liquid. More common, so these are the solutions, and the solute is either solid or liquid or gas. Okay, so solvent is liquid and the solute is solid, liquid, gas. So we consider a solution where solute is liquid or solutions of solid in liquid. Solution of solid and liquid. Then the solutions depends on different factors, that is the nature of solid and liquid and also temperature. So light dissolves light. If it is a polar solid, then it can dissolve. Then this can be dissolved in a polar solvent, and the solid is a non-polar, then that is soluble in a non-polar solvent. So sodium chloride, glucose, all are sugar, these are soluble in polar solvents like water. Similarly, nitrobenzene, etc. These are insoluble. These are non-polar solvents, so non-polar solids. So these are soluble in non-polar solvents like ethers, carbon tetrachloride, benzene, etc. So that depends on nature of solid and liquid and another temperature. So in some cases, if the reaction is exothermic, then by changing temperature, the solubility of solid in liquid decreases. And it is endothermic in nature, then the solubility of a solid in liquid increases. So endothermic generally, endothermic, then solubility increases. If this is exothermic, then solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Increase in temperature. Okay, so this is the solution of solid in liquids. Now let us consider the solutions of gases in liquids. go in this, first let us know what is solubility. What is solubility? So, what is solubility? That is the amount of solute, that can dissolve, the amount of solute in grams that can be dissolved in a unit volume. So the amount of solute that can be dissolved in a unit volume to make a saturated solution, at a particular temperature, is known as solubility. The amount of solute that can be dissolved in a unit volume to make a saturated solution at a particular temperature is known as solubility. This is general for all, but if we take the gases, then we have to add another term. The amount of solute that can be dissolved in a unit volume to make a saturated solution at a particular temperature and a pressure of 1 atmosphere and a pressure of 1 atmosphere. This is known as the solubility of gas. Okay. So what is the amount of solute that can dissolve in a particular solvent, in the unit volume of the solvent, to make a saturated solution at the particular temperature at 1 atmospheric pressure is known as your solubility of the gas. Suppose 5 gram of any gas is present, can dissolve in 100 ml of solution to make a saturated solution at 1 atmospheric pressure and at 25 degrees Celsius. Then that is known as the 5 gram per 100 ml, that is known as the solubility of the gas. Okay. So the solubility of the gas depends on different factors. What are the factors on which the solubility of the gas depends? The factors on which the solubility of the gas depends is 1. Nature of gas and solvent, nature of gas and solvent, another temperature and another pressure. Okay, there are the 3 factors. So nature of gas and solvent. So same thing, like just like. If the gas is polar or if the gas is more compressible in nature, then that can be dissolved in water easily. And so gases like carbon dioxide, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, these gases are more soluble in water. While gases like hydrogen, inert gases, oxygen, nitrogen, these are less soluble in water. So less soluble oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen like gases, and more soluble are carbon dioxide, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, etc. So which gas can be easily compressible or which are generally polar nature, that gases are more soluble in water, and these gases are less soluble in water because these are generally non-polar in nature and they may be dissolved in other solvents, that is non-polar solvents. So it depends on nature of gas and solvent. Next, temperature. So by increasing temperature, generally the solubility of gases decreases. So what are the gases dissolved in a particular solvent? The gases are generally escaped out by increasing the temperature. The gases escape out by increasing temperature. In this way, with increasing temperature, solubility decreases. Solubility of gas decrease. Next, pressure. So by increasing pressure, generally solubility increases. Solubility increases. By increasing pressure, generally the solubility increases. So the relationship between the pressure and the solubility of the gas is given by, or better explained by, Henry's law. So, what is the effect of pressure on the solubility of gas? That is given by Henry's law. So, what is Henry's law? So, the Henry's law states that the mass of a gas dissolved per unit volume of the liquid at constant temperature is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas present in equilibrium with the liquid. Okay, so when gases are dissolved in a particular liquid and at the top of this liquid there is a pressure of this gas. So when these pressures are in equilibrium with the liquid, at that time what is the amount of the gas dissolved in a particular liquid of the unit volume is, for example, for 1 ml, suppose, per unit volume of the liquid, this is directly proportional. What is the pressure of the gas above the liquid when it is in equilibrium with the liquid? Okay, so temperature is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas present in equilibrium with the liquid. So mathematically, this can be represented as M is proportional to P. Mass of the gas is proportional to the pressure of the gas. Simple. Mass of the gas proportional to the pressure of the gas. Or mass is proportional, mass equal to some constant K into P. Okay, where K is known as your proportionality constant. This K is proportionality constant. Another thing, the mass of gas dissolved per unit volume of the liquid, this is also known as what? This is known as your, to make a saturated solution, this is known as your solubility. So in this way, we can also write the Henry's law as the solubility of a gas in a liquid. The solubility of a gas in a liquid, the solubility of a gas in a liquid at constant temperature is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas present in equilibrium with the liquid. So this is also known as your Henry's law. So another way, at that time, similarly Dalton, another scientist, he postulated that, so suppose there are so many number of mixture of the gases, and these gases also dissolve in a liquid, dissolve in a particular, suppose there are mixture of gases and these gases are dissolved in a particular liquid. So different gases can dissolve in different amount of the liquid. So the amount of the gases or the solubility of a gas in a mixture is directly proportional to the pressure of the partial pressure of the gas. Suppose so many number of gases are there, a mixture of gases are there, and different gases dissolve in different quantities in a particular liquid, in a particular solvent. Then Dalton postulates that the solubility, according to Dalton, the solubility of a gas from a mixture, the solubility of a gas in a liquid is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas. If it has more higher partial pressure, then more amount it can dissolve. It has lower partial pressure, then less amount it can dissolve. In this way, if the solubility is represented in terms of mole fraction, then XA, suppose this is the mole fraction of the solubility of a gas, and the solubility is expressed in terms of mole fraction, then XA is proportional to partial pressure. So A is suppose A is a gas, okay, and solubility expressed in terms of mole fraction. Then XA, the solubility of the gas directly proportional to PA, or XA equal to K dash into PA, where XA is the mole fraction of this component and K dash is the proportionality constant. Or we can write PA equal to 1 by K dash into XA, or we can write PA equal to X, proportional to XA. So from this, the Henry's law can also stated as, the Henry's law can also stated as okay, PA equal to 1 by K dash XA, or PA equal to XA, and or another way we can write PA equal to KH into XA. This KH equal to 1 by K dash. Okay, so this is called, this KH is called Henry's constant. It depends on nature of solute and solvent. Generally depends on nature of solute. Okay, generally it depends on the nature of solute. Okay, so from this relation, Henry's law can also state as the partial pressure of a gas is directly proportional. The partial pressure of the gas is directly proportional the partial pressure of the gas is dissolved in a liquid. The partial pressure of the gas is dissolved in a liquid is directly proportional to the mole fraction of gas in the solution. Mole fraction of the gas in the solution. Okay, so partial pressure of the gas is directly proportional to the mole fraction of gas in the solution. So So this is also known as Henry's law, and this is the mathematical form of this law, or this is the mathematical form of this law. PA equal to KH into SA, where this KH is known as your Henry's constant, and higher the value of KH, less is the solubility of the gas. Okay, higher the value of KH, lower is the solubility. Okay, so for today, up to this, so today here we have discussed what are different concentration terms, and what is the solubility of gas in a liquid, what factors on which the solubility depends, and what is Henry's law.